Hi, I'm Jeff Dreher. I work in a crowded emergency department and we are short-staffed. And it turns out a lot of you are short-staffed. So I looked into this problem and I was amazed to see what I found out why we're short-staffed. It's not just a nursing shortage. So listen on for the next 10 minutes or so and I'll tell you what I learned. So I began my journey in discovery by going to Morning Report and I looked around and I saw what they do. They actually talk about the plan for the day for every patient, discharges, admissions, but I also talk about nursing, how many nurses they have, how many techs they have on each floor, and they juggle the staff. They help each other out. But administration also opens and closes beds in units based off of the census. So I always wondered why. Why do they do this? Well, it turns out it's related to finance and profitability. But that's a surprise to me because it seems like the hospital has a lot of money. They just rehabbed that entire floor. They just built that new wing. So I guess I'm not in the loop on this, huh? The frontline staff don't really get into the financial aspects of this. So why are they so nervous about finance? So I dug a little deeper and turns out that we have a very, very low operating profit margin. I mean, back in 22, post COVID, we were actually in the negative. And then we just got our profitability above water and went to 2%. Wow, that is not much profit at all. If I had that much profit at my home, my wife would not be happy, neither would I, because we wouldn't be able to go out to dinner. We'd have to freeze our vacations. Guess the kids not getting braces this year. And guess what? We're not going to plant those flowers. We can't afford them. So operating profit is extremely important, and they're very nervous because the margins are low, very low, and they're variable and could go negative. So this is the most recent stuff from 2025. So it does show that we do have profit, 1%, 2%, not good, but then it went up to 4%. This is a very variable. This is not good. Um, we need to figure this out. I can understand why administrators are a little nervous about this, having such a variable profit margin. So let's talk about finance a little bit. So hospitals make money from their operations. The money they bring in from taking care of patients is offset by the cost it takes to do that. And the cost is supplies, maintenance, staffing, insurance, marketing, keeping the lights on, utilities. And so you subtract the cost from what we bring in, and that's what gives you the profit. And that's the net operating profit. So I thought about what do other industries make? I don't know this. So I looked that up. What's the operating profit of a McDonald's franchise? 45%. Google, 34%. Amazon, 12%. Small business, 7 to 10%. United Healthcare, 6%. I believe it's more than that, but that's what they're reporting. And hospitals, only 2 to 4%. So I suggest that all hospitals go and put a McDonald's in their parking lot just to help subsidize them. I mean, 45%, that's amazing. So net profit's only 2 to 4%, but it's vital. What do we do with net profit? Well, that's what we educate, we innovate, we invest in our staffing. This is how we educate, innovate, and do things that are great in our hospital. We also improve quality with this extra. It gives us financial stability. We will avoid layoffs if we have a great margin. If we have a negative margin for multiple months in a row, what do? They freeze hiring, they freeze traveling, right? You've seen that happen before. And we do things for the community with our net profit. So it's extremely important to have net profit. So who makes the decisions in the hospital? How do they make these decisions? Well, I'm down here. I'm a frontline worker, right? I'm an ER doc. I work with nurses every day, and we worry about what's going on with the patient. What's going on? What's best for the patient? What's quality? And when they start talking about money, this is about what most of the people do. They tune out. They don't think about the finances, but we really, really, really need to think about finances because that's what drives our business and we have such narrow margins. So the CEO and all these people that are in the C-suite are pretty financially conscious. They're worried about the money because it's narrow. So they're always asking the questions, what's the cost and what's the return on investment? What's our break even? If I do any project, I always calculate these because they want to know this. They're not going to approve it if it's not going to make money. And I agree. We need to make money in our business. I'm sorry, we just do. And it's actually more than financially conscious. They are financially nervous. Whenever there is a low margin, everyone in that C-suite goes into hiding and they talk about how can we save money, how can we cut costs. And then they're nervous for good reason. I mean, they're not telling us this. They don't want us to be nervous about it. They are, because we need to take great care of the patients. But there's a lot of financial uncertainty and variability. I mean, reimbursements are variable. Sometimes they get paid by an insurer, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have to keep resubmitting. Reimbursements rules change annually. I mean, if you had to change how you did business every year based off of their rules, it would drive you crazy. It drives me nuts. Um, CMS rack audits. Do you know about those? Well, CMS rack audits would make anyone nervous. That's where they say, well, let's look back at your charting for the last year and see if you charted why you used IV fluids. What were the reasons? And if you didn't chart well enough, then they're going to pull back. And some hospitals lost millions with these rack audits. So they're standing around all nervous, rack audits. Oh my gosh, what are they going to do this year? And there's rising costs of supplies, staffing, and inflation. Those other things. But the big ones are these things with reimbursement. So in this world, in this environment where we have tight margins, variability in financial rewards, and uncertainty in how we're going to get money, how does the C-suite improve and optimize operating profit? How do they do it? One guess, cutting costs. They look at operations. How can we cut costs? Well, they can't really do it well in supplies or maintaining or insurance or utilities. Those are pretty fixed. But we can cut marketing, we can cut education, we can cut innovation, we can cut all these things that net profit digs into net profit. But the one thing they do is they really, really look at staffing. So why do they do that? Staffing is the largest expense of any hospital. I was amazed to find out that they are spending 48 to 56% of their operating expense is staffing. That's amazing. So administrators optimize profitability by optimizing staffing. They adjust staffing levels and the number of open beds. How many beds are we going to open and staff today based off of profitability? And they try to keep occupancy rate above 80, 85%. They try to push it as high as they can. Why? Because this is where they are the most profit. I came up with this chart because every hospital I've worked into, they seem like they needed to be above 85% to maximize profitability, which actually causes us to work harder and not have any reserve. Not a good thing. High occupancy rate actually causes patients to wait. Waiting is caused by occupancy. This is the occupancy curve. Wait time is definitely related to occupancy rate of any resource. And when your bed resources are over 80% occupied, the wait time for that bed becomes exponential. And you know it, between 8 to 10 hours it takes to turn a bed over up in the hospital. Less than that if they're really pushing it and keeping an eye on it. But some beds can sit idle for quite a long time, and that's our most critical resource. And the thing is, this high occupancy rate has a negative effect on everything. It causes waiting for care. It causes poor quality of care, With door to treatment being the biggest driver, it delays care, causes the quality to be poor, causes to be inefficient, and it causes overcrowding because we have people waiting and that backs up the ED. We have people boarding in the emergency department, and all this all leads to staff burnout. So the ball's back in our court. So how can we improve our workplace, improve the quality of care and the care that we deliver with these problems? We're short-staffed, we have high occupancy rate, we have tight margins, we have financial variability and uncertainty. That's certainly part of the equation. So we need to figure out how we're going to do this to make our workplace much more enjoyable and decrease the occupancy rate. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. Well, I thought it was important to show you the reasons why we have such problems now and why it's been chronic and why it hasn't been solved. But I'm here to tell you that there is a solution, a proven solution that will improve our work efficiency. It's going to be like adding staffing and adding beds. Things are going to work so smoothly that it's going to improve how we actually function, and it's going to add staff and add beds, which is, I know, what everyone has been crying for. It's going to improve speed to care and care quality. It's going to make the staff happier to work in a place that actually has less headaches. And it's going to improve patient satisfaction because they're getting great care that's efficient. And it's going to improve hospital revenue. And I can't wait to show you this. It's going to be coming up on the next few videos. I just wanted to give you a primer why we have such problems and why it's been chronic. So I very much appreciate your attention, and thank you. So here is me and my contact information. My YouTube channel is right here, Jeff Dreher, MD, MBA. I'll put on my videos there. Here is my contact information. Text me, call me. I am more than happy to talk to you about our solutions and how we can help you to improve your hospital. So thank you so much for your attention. Here's a little bit more about me and my background. I look forward to seeing you on my next videos.